Hello, in this lecture I will explain chapter 9 from the great poem The Night in the Panther Skin. The title of chapter 9 is the letter written by NESTAN-DAREDJAN to her beloved Tariel. Actually, Nestan wrote the letter to her beloved Tariel when she was in the captivity of the demons, the Kajis or the sorcerers. Actually it is her second captivity, and the first captivity was by the Indian kidnappers, and Patman rescued her from the captivity. And here is she held by the demons in a very tall tower, and actually she held in the top of the tower, and she wrote the letter from her captivity in the top of the tower. So I will read stanza number 1292. Now, actually, the chapter explains and tells us what she wrote and how she wrote and what she wrote in the letter that she sent to her beloved from her captivity. Okay, so stanza number 1292. Now when she's sobbing, crying, write to her beloved. So the explanation of the first line of stanza 1292 is Nestan wrote the letter while she was sobbing and crying. The second line is, by the tears of those who burn it in the fire of the flame of his love for her, the pain fades. And the meaning of the second line is that Nestan's tears caused Tariel's flames to fade. The third line of stanza 1292 is, she wrote a letter that penetrates the hearts of those who hear its contents. And the meaning of the third line is that Nestan wrote a very moving letter that touches the hearts of those who read its content. Okay, line number 4, she splits the rose, then the transparent crystal appears. So in the fourth line there are two images. The first image is Nestan's mouth that resembles to a rose, and the second image is of Nestan's teeth that resembles to a transparent crystal. Okay, so I will read again the line number 4. She splits the rose, that is to say, opens her mouth, and her mouth resembles to a rose. Then the transparent crystal appears. So the line says that when she opens her mouth, then her teeth appears, her teeth that resembles to a clear crystal. Okay? So stanza number 1293. Oh my love, this letter I sent to you, it's my handiwork. The meaning of the first sentence is that Nestan says to her beloved Tariel that the letter she wrote was done by herself only, without any help from others. the second line of stanza 1293 is, I used my body as a stylus, and as a ink I used the tears I had shed. So actually there are two images in this line. The first image is the stylus that resembles to NESTAN's body, and the second image is the ink in which she wrote the letter, and the ink resembles to the tears that she shed when she wrote the letter. Okay, I read again. Line number 2 of stanza 1293. I used my body as a stylus, and as an ink I used the tears I had shed. And the meaning actually, in addition of the two images, the meaning of the second line is that she actually invested a lot of efforts in order to write the letter. So she used actually she invested all her body, and she shed a lot of tears. So it was she did a lot of effort, and she actually invested all her strengths in order to write the letter. Okay, line number 3, as a paper I glued your art even to my art. So in the third line there is a third image. The paper on which you wrote the letter resembles to their glued arts of her and her beloved Tariel. Okay, as a paper I glued your art even to my art. Okay, so the paper resembles to Tariel's and NESTAN's glued arts. Okay, and the meaning of the third line is that the letter that NESTAN sent to her beloved Tariel, written from the bottom of her heart. Okay, the fourth line of stanza 1293 is, O art, black and sad art, you are bound, may you remain bound forever to his art. And the meaning of the fourth line is that NESTAN's wish is that her art will always be bound to her lover's art, Tariel. Okay, and she also mentions that her art is black and sad. That is because of all her troubles that she underwent during her miserable life, because she was abducted twice, as I have already told you. Okay, so she had a lot of troubles, and for that in her life, and for that her art is black and sad. Okay, stanza number 1294. Do you see, my love, what deeds the fate is doing? No matter how much sunlight the sun brings down on us, to me it's always dark. The meaning of the second line in stanza 1294 is that because of my bad luck, I always sad and depressed. The third line of stanza 1294 is, the wise know it, that is to say, the fate, it is the fate, and therefore they despise it. For them, fate is contemptible. So the meaning of the third line is that because of the fact that the wise people are familiar with fate, for that reason they hate it. Why? Because the fate did and does a lot of bad things to a lot of people, and especially to Nestan. Okay. The fourth line of stanza 1294 is, my life without you, oh my, how hard it is. And the meaning of the fourth line is that Nestan says that she cannot live without her beloved Tariel. Stanza number 1295. Do you see, my love, how fate and damned time separated us? So the meaning of the first line is that Nestan puts the blame of their separation on the fate. Okay? The second line of stanza 1295 is, I am not happy to see you anymore, my dear. The third line of stanza 1295 is, what can the art worshipped by you really do without you? The meaning of the third line is that I would worship you as long as we were together. Now my life is worth nothing. Okay, the fourth line of stanza 1295 is, a sacred thought will reveal to you the Eden. That is to say, the place where the demons hide me. Okay. One can ask, why is Nestan's place of captivity Eden? After all, in stanza 1300, she tells her lover Tariel that she is being held in a high castle. So everyone knows, especially Tariel, that she is held in a high castle. So why it is Eden? In my opinion, it is possible that there are many fortified castles in the land of the demons, so it is not possible to know in which castle Nestan is being held captive. Okay? Stanza number 1296. By your son, until now I thought you were dead. The meaning of the first line is that Nestan says to her lover Tariel that I swear on your life that until now I thought you were dead. The second line is, for me, I thought my life and all my resources were spent. The meaning of the second line is that as long as I thought you were dead, my life was a life of sadness and depression. The third line of stanza 1296 is, now when I hear news from you, I praise the Creator and glorify Him. The meaning of the third line is that now that I know that you are alive, I am grateful to God. Okay, the fourth line of stanza number 1296 is, all my troubles are equal to the joy associated with knowing that you are alive. The meaning of the fourth line in stanza 1296 is that Nestan loves Tariel so much, that she says that all the troubles she had in her life up until now are worth the one and the only knowledge that Tariel is alive. Okay, so that is how much she loves Tariel. Stanza 1297. Your life is enough for me, that my heart will be filled with hope. The meaning of the first line is that the knowledge that you are alive makes me happy and strong. The second line is a heart so wounded and burned. The meaning of the second line is that the Stan's heart is black and sad because of all the troubles that she underwent during her life. As I've already told you, she was abducted twice and she had a lot of troubles in her life. And for that reason, her heart is wounded and burned. The third line of stanza 1297, think of me, remember me as a person lost to you. The fourth line, I see it and take care of the love I planted. The meaning of the fourth line is that the only thing that left to me to do is to think about our great love. Okay? Stanza number 1298. I have no ability to express my story on my own. The meaning of the first line is that the story about me is so adventurous and full of hardship and so exciting that I cannot tell it myself. The second line of stanza 1298 is, my tongue gets tired, no one will believe what his ears have heard. The third line of stanza 1298 is, Patman saved me from the Indian kidnappers, may God protect her. The meaning of the third line is that in my first abduction by the Indians, Patman was the one who saved me from them, and therefore may God save her from all trouble and distress and from all harm and illness. Okay, the fourth line of stanza 1298 is, now once again the cruel fate did what it saw fit to do. The meaning of the fourth line is that now cruel fate has done what is expected of it. Okay? Stanza number 1299. Fate has now added more sorrow to my present troubles. The second line of stanza 1299 is that my bad luck was not satisfied with the already existing suffering, which consisted of many pains. The meaning of the second line is that the cruel fate was not satisfied with the troubles and sufferings it had caused me until now. The third line, and again it delivered me into the hands of sorcerers whom it is difficult to fight. The meaning of the third line is that it is impossible to rescue me from the captivity because of the fact that the demons are very strong fighters. Okay? The fourth line, fate has cost us, my love, all the troubles that have befallen us. The meaning of the fourth line of stanza number 1299 is, again, Nestan blames the fate for all the troubles that they have. Tariel himself also suffers and cries and sobs all the time since he killed the tigress. Since he killed the tigress he loved so much, when his intention was to save her from the aggressive lion, and the tigress didn't stop eating and scratching him with her palms until finally he was forced to eat her, and this eat caused her death. And since that tragic event, he has not stopped crying and sobbing and grieving for the death of the tigress, and as a sign of mourning for the death of the tigress, he turned her skin into a coat that he always wears, so that the tigress always remains in his heart and soul until the day he dies. The tigress in the poem is so important that it is the name of the poem, The Knight in the Panther Skin. That is to say, the knight wears the skin of the tigress he killed. And actually, the panther is the tigress, okay? So it is the knight who killed, or the knight who wears the skin of the tigress he killed. Okay, and the tigress is the panther. Okay, and the reason for the importance of the tigress is because the tigress's face resembles the face of Nestan, and Nestan is the beloved of the hero of the poem, Tariel. Okay? And now Tariel's grief is double. He mourns both the death of the tigress and the abduction of Nestan by the demons. Okay? Stanza number 1300. I sit in a castle so high that my eyes can barely see the ground. The meaning of the first line in stanza 1300 is that the castle where I am held captive by the demons is so high that when I look down I can barely see the ground. Okay? The second line, the entrance to the tower is through a closed tunnel above which there are guards. The meaning of the second line of stanza 1300 is that the only entrance to the tower is through a closed tunnel. The third line of stanza 1300 is day and night guards secure the tunnel and wait for their turn in their watch. The meaning of the third line is that the guards secure the entrance to the tunnel 24 hours a day and are very eager to start their shift. The fourth line of stanza 1300 is that they will kill those who try to enter the tower through the tunnel. Like fire, they will envelope them. The meaning of the fourth line of stanza 1300 is that the guards, will eliminate anyone who tries to enter the tunnel to free me from the captivity in which I am. That is what Nestan wrote to our beloved Tariel. Okay, stanza 1301. do you think that those men are the kind of the warriors you have destroyed before? The meaning of the first line of stanza 1301 is that don't think the demons are the kind of warriors you have destroyed before, because they are much stronger. The second line, don't destroy me with troubles worse than the present troubles. The third line of stanza 1301 is, if I see you dead, I will burn like straw in a flame. The meaning of the third line in stanza 1301 is that if you die during the fight against the demons, then I will burn like a straw in the flame. The fourth line of stanza 1301 is, since I am separated from you, give upon me with a heart under the rock. The meaning of the fourth line is, because of the fact that I cannot be rescued from the captivity of the demons, because the demons are very strong fighters, then so give upon me wholeheartedly. Okay? Stanza 1302. My beloved, don't lament over me with such grief. The meaning of the first line of stanza 1302 is, stop grieving for me. The second line is, tell me, is there another person for me with the shape of the aloe tree? The meaning of the second line is that actually, first of all, in the second line there is an image. Tariel resembles to the aloe tree, okay? And the meaning, actually, Tariel is described in the poem as a very handsome knight, okay? And that is the meaning of the second line. The third line of stanza 1302, life without you is meaningless to me, and from now on I should be full of regret. The meaning of the third line is that Nestan says to her beloved Tariel that I cannot live without you. The fourth line of stanza 1302, either I throw myself off the rock or stab myself with a knife. The meaning of the fourth line is that if I hear, Nestan says to her beloved Tariel that if I hear about your death, I commit suicide. Okay, stanza number 1303. Without you, the sun, I, your moon, will fall, and it will be impossible to save me. So there are two images in line 1. The first image is of Tariel that resembles to the sun, and the second image is of the sun that resembles to the moon. Okay, and the meaning of the first line is that Nestan will die without her lover Tariel. The second line of stanza 1303 is that with you on the other hand, I will not fall nor stumble, although 3 suns shine near me. That is to say that many enemies are in my immediate vicinity. So the meaning of the second line is that on the other hand, with you I will never fall, and no one can beat me, even though that I am surrounded by enemies. So in the second line there is an image. Nestan's enemies resemble to the three sons. Okay, because in the second line is written, with you on the other end I will not fall nor stumble, all the three sons shine on me, shine near me, and that three sons are actually their enemies. So Nestan says to her beloved Tariel that although I'm surrounded by a lot of enemies, I will not fall. I will defeat them with you. Okay? The third line, here I would crash down, the big rocks are very close to me. The fourth line is that to you I will dedicate my soul. I may be given wings in the sky, and I will reach the company of the souls of the righteous. The meaning of the fourth line is that Nestan says that she will dedicate her soul to her beloved Tariel, and her wish is to be given wings in order to reach the souls of the righteous. Okay, stanza number 1304. Beseech God, maybe He will deliver me from the troubles of the world. The meaning of the first line is that Nestan asks her beloved Tariel that he pray to God in order to be saved from all her troubles, from all of her troubles. Okay, the second line of stanza 1304 is, and from union with fire, water, earth, and air. The meaning of the second line is that Nestan also asks Tariel to pray to God to be saved from union with fire, water, earth, and air. Okay? The third line of stanza 1304 is, let him give me wings and I will fly, I will achieve my desire. The meaning of the third line is that Nestan's wish is to be given wings in order to be saved from her troubles on earth and in order to be close to the righteous. Okay? And the fourth line of stanza 1304 is, day and night I will look at the rays of the sun. That is to say Tariel, flashing in splendor. So there is an image in the fourth line of stanza 1304, and the face of Tariel resembles to the rays of the sun. Okay? And actually, NESTAN-DAREDJAN's wish is to look at the rays of the sun, that is to say, to look at Tariel's face that resembles to the rays of the sun, to always look at the face of her beloved Tariel. Okay? Actually, Nestan wants to be rescued from her captivity and to look always at her lover's face. Okay? Stanza number 1305. The sun is missing one of its components without you. The meaning of the first line in stanza 1305 is, Nestan tells her lover Tariel that the sun is incomplete without him. Okay? The second line of stanza 1305, you are one of the planets of the sun, and not something that the sun rejects. So there is an image in the second line. Tariel resembles to the planets that orbits around the sun. Okay? The third line of stanza 1305 is, I will see you, I will compare you to the sun, and you will illuminate my dark heart. So the meaning of the third line of stanza 1305 is that NESTAN's wish is to be rescued from her captivity, although that is almost impossible. And when he will be rescued from her captivity, she will see her beloved, and that is what is written in the third line. I will see you, I will compare you to the sun, and you will illuminate my dark heart. So in order to see her beloved Tariel, first of all, she must be rescued from her captivity by the Kaddish. Okay? The fourth line, if my life was bitter, at least my death will be sweet. So the meaning of the fourth line is that NESTAN wishes that at least her death would be easy after suffering so much during her life. Stanza number 1406. Death is no longer severe for me because I dedicate my soul to you. The meaning of the first line in stanza 1306 is that NESTAN says that even death is no longer difficult for her because she dedicates her soul to her beloved Tariel. Okay? The second line of stanza 1306 is, but I placed your love in my heart, and there it rested. The third line of stanza 1306 is, when I think about parting with you, a wound is added to the existing wound. The meaning of the third line is that NESTAN says that every time I think about breaking up with you, I start to suffer from feelings of depression and despair. The fourth line of stanza 1306 is, don't cry, don't mourn for me, oh my beloved one. Stanza 1307, go to the land of India, to my father. So NESTAN asks her lover Tariel to go to her father Parsedan, who is the king of the seventh kingdom of India. The second line of stanza 1307, surrounded by enemies on every side. The meaning of the second line of stanza 1307 is that NESTAN asks Tariel to help him fight against the enemies who surround and besiege his kingdom. Okay. Line 3 of stanza 1307. Comfort his heart that suffers from separation from me in old age, and encourage him because he is sad. So the meaning of the third line of stanza 1307 is that the son asks her beloved Tariel to encourage her father because he is sad, because I was taken captive by the demons. Okay? The fourth line of stanza 1307 is that, think that I am crying for you with tears that cannot be dried. The meaning of the fourth line of stanza 1307 is that NESTAN says to her beloved Tariel that I shed so many tears for you that they cannot be dried. Stanza 1308. Everything I complained against my fate, that's enough complaint. The second line is, know this, that true justice always comes from the heart and enters directly into the heart of the one who hears it. The third line, for your sake I am ready to die and be prey for cause. So the meaning of the third line of stanza 1308 is, NESTAN says to her beloved Tariel that I am even ready to die for you. The fourth line of stanza 1308 is, but as long as I live, I will cry and suffer enough for you too. The meaning of the fourth line of stanza 1308 is, but as long as I live, I will not stop crying and suffering for you. Okay. Stanza number 1308. Know the symbol of our eternal love, the scarf which was yours. The meaning of the first line of stanza 1308 is that the symbol of their love is the scarf that belongs to Tariel. The second line of stanza 1309 is that from one end I cut a strip, oh my love. The meaning of the second line of stanza 1309 is that NESTAN cut a small piece of the scarf and attached it to the letter she sent to her beloved Tariel. The third line of stanza 1309 is this, that is to say the scarf, is all I have left in place of this great hope. So the meaning of the third line of stanza 1309 that the only thing that is left from their love is the scarf. Okay? The fourth line of stanza 1309 is the seven wheels of heaven turned against us in fury. The meaning of the fourth line of stanza 1309 is that we are suffering so much because God is angry on us. Okay? Stanza 1310. When she finished writing the letter she wrote to her lover, the second line, she cut the fringe from the above scarf. The meaning of the second line is that, as I have already said, NESTAN cut a small piece of the scarf and attached it to the letter she sent to her beloved Tariel. The third line of stanza 13:8 is showing ahead the thick and long hairs of her hair made her more handsome. And the meaning of the third line is that NESTAN's thick and long hair makes her very beautiful. The fourth line of stanza 13:10 is the smell that emanates from her body, which is similar to the cypress tree, reaches the hairs of her head. So there is an image in the fourth line, and the smell of her body resembles to the smell of the cypress tree, and the meaning of the fourth line is that the smell from her body reaches to the hairs of her head. Okay? So that was chapter 9 that tells about the letter that NESTAN sent to her beloved Tariel from her captivity by the demons. Okay, thank you very much.